Hey there, boys and ghouls. This is Conspirorize, and I am Pat Davis, your host. Here on Conspirorize, if this is your first time listening, hopefully not, we dig into some cryptozoological subjects. Of course, if you don't know what it is, cryptozoology is, of course, the study that aims to prove the existence of mythical creatures. Now, tonight we're actually looking at one of my favorite cryptids, which is Bigfoot. Here with me today to join in the discussion are the Blue Cougars, a Toronto band who are about to drop a fantastic new album called Behind You, coming out in mid-March. They have a little bit of interest in the cryptozoological study as well, especially into Bigfoot, and they've actually written a song about Bigfoot on their new album. So welcome, guys. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Pat.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You guys are familiar with the podcast, correct? You're
Obviously.
listeners.
We're loyal.
You've called me a number of
subscribers.
times, and we were trying to find that perfect show to bring you guys on, and this is really it.
We want to thank you for having us.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
thank
Honestly,
you so much,
guys,
Pat.
it's my pleasure. Yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of what you guys are doing here. You've got on the new album, you've got aside from the song about Bigfoot, you've also got a song about Dracula, a song about the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Mummy. I mean, these are all great. These are all fantastic monsters.
But we want to talk about Bigfoot with you, Pat.
Let's get real.
Well, that's what
Let's
we're
do
here
it.
for. So tell me, guys, what inspired the song about Bigfoot that you guys wrote?
It's about the exhilaration that one feels upon first viewing the Patterson film. I don't know if you know about the Patterson film, but the luck of those guys, they went up there to film
So
a
lucky.
Bigfoot film, and then they found Bigfoot.
That's
Can you
incredible.
believe that?
Can you believe that?
That's
The
incredible.
luck?
It's lucky.
I personally identify more with the M.K. Davis stabilized video, which really exemplifies the gait of the Bigfoot. I think that's really what convinced me that there was a possibility that, they're really out there, those big feet.
The gait, of course, being the stride of the Bigfoot.
Indeed, yes.
I'm just curious if you guys are aware that the Bigfoot, there's actually a European, originally a European counterpart to Bigfoot that was from I believe it was the Renaissance era.
Okay.
That was spotted numerous times in and around Mongolia as well. The original sightings and actually the name of Bigfoot came from then. It didn't come from the more recent North American sightings that we're all more familiar with. The original name of Bigfoot was it was actually sort of a misinterpreted label by a European observer. They actually labeled the creature Big Fuerte. From that native dialect, it means large hairy man, and of course that was misinterpreted to mean big foot, literally. And then of course the first sighting of a footprint only incited further use of that name.
Wow.
So Nick, I heard that you're interested in
Well, it's just like,
in the Skookum cast.
from what I understand, someone laid a trap for a Bigfoot in the middle of a muddy kind of an area with apples, and apparently this Bigfoot, in order to cover up its Bigfoot tracks, laid down in the mud and reached across to get the
Was there
apple.
fur? Did they leave fur?
Well,
But there's a bit of controversy, or at least deliberation, on the fur itself, Bigfoot's actual fur. Some have posited that the fur is thin and oily in some ways. That it's clearly this creature is living in the wild, but it shows signs of perspiring and that it's oily. Whereas other people have commented that the fur is almost astonishingly thick and fuzzy. With like a lighter brown color. So I'm just curious to know your guys' thoughts on this, because it seems like we've got two different schools here hitting each other in the face with this. Like, what, shed some light on this for me, guys.
All I can say definitively is that it is thin and coarse. And that's all I'll say for now.
Have any of you guys seen Bigfoot?
I have.
Oh, wow. Adrian's seen Bigfoot. I've often wondered if I myself have seen Bigfoot. It's really inconclusive. It's a bit of a foggy memory. But
did you have an experience, Pat?
I mean, I may well have. I really don't know. It's something I'm trying to sort of figure out myself. But I'll tell you, it's. I was really young. I was on a camping trip and I saw a shape in the woods, and it was it was very dark out. It was a bit foggy.
What did it look like?
I mean, it looked got to be 8 feet if it was a foot. It was this towering presence, and it just. It was hard to really see the detail. It was in the shadow, but I could swear it was looking at me. We had a moment where it had contact with me, and then when it left, I mean the gait was magnificent. It was.
Did you get a look at the brow ridge?
That's one thing I've thought about many times over the years. I actually don't think I can say conclusively I did not get a good look at the brow ridge. Do you think that there are more big feet? And do you think that the Bigfoot? Do you think that the Bigfoot has a partner or has a family?
I just don't see how there could be more than one. How?
That just seems so close-minded.
You know what, Aaron? You're right. There's got to be more than one Bigfoot.
You're suggesting one Bigfoot who's been just roaming for forever, for thousands
like before.
of years.
Remember, before we were recording.
You don't
remember
know
when
anything.
But listen, remember when we were talking before and Pat and Pat said that big feet their lives are 4 times 64. That's how old Bigfoot is. I think that maybe is just one and it's really old, like Chewbacca.
Okay.
Of course, the statistics that Nick was referring to there are the proven fact that one Bigfoot year equates to roughly 4.5 human years.
Yeah, you speculated that the Bigfoot that we know from the Patterson film was approximately 67 years old. I think. Wasn't that what you were saying? I don't want to put words in your mouth, Pat.
I would say at least. Because what happens is we don't know how old he was in the Patterson film.
That's true.
And if he ages as slowly as he seems to be, he very well could be hundreds, if not thousands of years old.
Like, I'm not good at math, but that probably is about 4,000 years old.
Could be.
Right?
At least.
That seems right.
I don't know, you guys, if you've heard about this, but it's actually been reported that Bigfoot may have been somewhat amphibious. The Bigfoot may have been able to exist in water, at least shallow water. There's another amphibious creature that you guys wrote about, that creature from the Black Lagoon. And I'm just wondering, do you guys think it's possible that these two creatures are able to coexist in the same environments? Or do you think that this is grasping at straws here?
Well, from what I hear, in Florida, which is like I think that's where the creature is meant to be. Yeah, it's meant to be like kind of like a lagoon. And from what I understand, there's a creature down there that's often referred to as the Swamp Cabbage Man.
Yeah, the skunk ape. They're indigenous to Florida.
And I don't know if you guys.
It's possible.
And I don't know if you guys have access to Google image search, but if you do, just try typing that in.
Yeah.
Because you'll see some compelling evidence. I'm sure you know what we're talking about, Pat. I mean, how could you not?
Or of course, the Swamp Cabbage Man.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, they're synonymous.
Yeah. Stink ape.
Do you guys believe in aliens?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Listen, I'm not gonna go that far. Okay, my mind is open, but aliens, really?
Well, let me tell you something, Nick. There's been some evidence popping up, and I mean, it could be that the aliens and Bigfoot are one and the same.
You think so?
Let me throw something at you here. We've all heard of Area 51. It's a very famous. Allegedly, the government is keeping some sort of aliens there. There's an investigative reporter who wants to continue to be unnamed because the heat is just a little high on this. Who has posited that Area 51 is actually where they're keeping Bigfoot. That they've captured Bigfoot, and that they're keeping him at Area 51.
This just sounds like more government meddling.
But maybe they put him up at some nice digs. Who knows? It's...
I can say with relative certainty that Bigfoot's not overly happy about this.
I think he changed my mind.
Yeah?
I think aliens are real now.
Good. I'm glad to hear you
amazing,
say that,
eh?
Nick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's got this idea of aliens, that they're these small, gray,
or green,
humanoid type creatures. But there's a lot of evidence that suggests they're actually tall and hairy. So, I mean, there's that. We got to look into that.
And the fur was coarse?
Excuse me. The fur is coarse, yes.
Actually, one theory I heard draws a bit of a thread from Bigfoot to one of the other monsters that we mentioned here previously.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you heard about this, but there's an entire school of thinking that positions Bigfoot as the product of a sort of cover-up, in a way. To cover up this strong evidence that started to emerge into the early 1800s that proved lycanthropy is real. Lycanthropy, of course, being werewolfism. Now, you guys wrote a song about the Wolfman.
We did.
What are your thoughts on this?
Listen, we did write a song about the Wolfman, but man, let's be real. There can't be Wolfman.
There can't be a Wolfman.
No way.
I mean, usually we don't
know
we don't
everything.
accept the word can't on this show.
You know what? You guys changed my mind.
I mean, if there could be ape men, why can't there be wolf men? I mean, why?
You guys.
Give me one
Did
good
you just
reason.
call Bigfoot an ape man?
Maybe.
You guys convinced me.
Mm-hmm.
I think there could be a
You
Wolfman.
just gotta keep an open mind. We don't know anything.
Do you think the Wolfman and the Bigfoot are one and the same?
We're like, probably.
I don't see how that is a possibility.
No.
No. And that, of course, brings me to my final thought. There's a lot of talk about monsters and putting them in this box and separating them from us and making us think that they're the other and that they're monstrous things that we have no relation to. But the reality is, more often than not, these creatures reflect us. They reflect our society and those that are forgotten. And as much as we can't help but be afraid when we see the Bigfoot, when we see the creature from the Black Lagoon, the truth of the matter is, 9 times out of 10, this creature doesn't want to harm us. This creature wants us to understand them. And I think that that's something that we can keep in mind as we live our lives.
Thanks for having us, Pat.
Thanks for coming,
you so
guys.
much.
Aaron, Nick, Adrian, the Blue
Thank you.
Cougars.
Hey, Aaron, what day are we playing again?
Oh, yeah. It's March 22nd, Handlebar.
In Toronto.
And that's where exactly?
It's in Kensington Market.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool bar.
I don't know if you've heard this, the Sasquatch has been seen in Toronto recently.
No.
Yeah, it was sighted at the around the Pita Pit on St. Clair.
First of all, I know that's a lie because there's no Peter Pit on St. Clair.
The one near the PetSmart. Yeah, there's a.
There is a piece of it.
What?
Does this have anything to do with your... Does this have to do with when you saw
Was that when you
Bigfoot?
saw the
Like I
Bigfoot?
said, let me get back to you guys.
I just wanted to talk about Pita Pit. It's a Canadian chain.
And delicious. And healthy.
That is not.
Nick, do you usually get spinach or lettuce?
I get lettuce.
I get all 3 types of lettuce.
You know what, Patrick? That's a little too personal now.
Now we gotta go.
We're going.
This interview's over. That's it. Go home. No,
I'm Pat Davis.
Jeez.
Bigfoot.